Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Ken from Hapayu Gardening, and today we're going to learn about thinning down your pumpkin plants. So check it out everyone, my pumpkin vines have really taken off. So I'm really excited, but today's also kind of a sad day because I'm going to have to cut some of these girls down. So the reason why I want to thin down my vines today is because I want to try to encourage the number of pumpkins that I can grow on each vine and also increase the size of the pumpkins that I'm growing. Now if I were to grow all of these vines would all be competing for the same nutrients, and as if you watch any of my first two videos, you know that pumpkin vines are very heavy feeders. So I could grow all of these, but the end result would not be the best that I'm looking for. Now a couple of years ago, I actually tried growing a few pumpkin vines really close together, and it resulted in what everyone talks about. I got no fruit on one of the vines, and the other two vines I got a total of 3 pumpkins, and these were regular jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, so it should have been 2 or 3 fruit on each vine. Okay, so let's give you a closer look and start cutting some of these vines down. We're going to start off with my Burpee First Prize hybrid vines and check them out, specifically this one right here. This vine is clearly the most vigorous grower out of all of these, and if you take a look below, we have some that basically just look like they stopped dead in their tracks too, like this one right here. Now these pumpkins can grow up to 300 pounds, and honestly I really don't care if I get a 300-pound pumpkin or if I get a 100-pound pumpkin. I really just want to see what these pumpkins look like this year. This is the first time I'm growing these kind of pumpkins. So what I'm going to do this year is actually grow 2 vines rather than growing 1 vine on this mound. Now if I wanted to grow the largest pumpkin that I could get, I would only grow 1 vine and thin everything else out on this mound, and I also wouldn't have that lone watermelon vine right there. But again, this is my first time growing First Prize hybrids. I'm not looking for the best size. I really am just trying to have fun with these vines this year and see how they produce. So with that said, let's go ahead and start cutting some of these down. Now I'm definitely going to be keeping this one. This one is clearly staying. Between the 2 or 3 others that I have to choose from, I have the choice of this one or this one. This one right here is also not doing too well, so this one's going to get chopped down as well. Now what I think I'm going to do is actually cut this one down, just to kind of increase the amount of space between these 2 vines, about 10 to 12 inches in between these 2 vines. And with this watermelon, it forms kind of a perfect triangle. So what I'm going to do is take my cutting shears and we will start cutting these down. I do not recommend pulling your vines out because you could disrupt the roots of the other healthy vines you're trying to keep, and you want to minimize the amount of shock that you cause to the vines that you want to keep. Alright, so what I'm going to do is take my cutting shears. I'm just going to cut it right down here. Sorry, it's always tough cutting down the things that you've tried growing, but gotta do what you gotta do, right? I'm sorry, little girl. Go in the compost pile. And man, this one really is a healthy looking vine. I'm having second guesses now about which one I should keep. If I keep this one, which is also a very vigorous grower, could get some better pumpkins. But you can see the space between these 2 is not very wide. Let's get that weed out of there too. I'm going to stick with my original instinct, and I'm going to keep this one and this one. So I'm really sorry about this girl. Alright, cut that one down as well too. Okay, take out some of these weeds, and here we go. So my First Prize hybrids have been thinned down to 2 vines. I have my lone watermelon vine that I'm going to grow with them, and then surrounding these vines are nasturtiums. Now let's move over to the other mound now. Check out this mound and check out all these vines. Hello, how are you girls doing? Looking awesome. So we have some Connecticut field vines and some Big Max vines here, and these vines are looking awesome. Check out the size of them. What's going on? You guys are looking awesome. This is so painful to do what I'm about to do. Now again, if you guys want to try growing all these vines, you certainly can. I do not recommend it because from my past experience, you will sacrifice the quantity and quality of your pumpkins. Now they usually recommend about 2 to 3 vines per mound and within this kind of spacing. And I do have a lot of space to let these vines spread out. So I'm not concerned about the amount of space I have for these vines to stretch out. And plus I am going to be trellising one of the Connecticut field vines. And also I will be growing secondary roots for all of these vines, which I will be talking about in a future episode. So be sure to stay tuned. If you're interested about learning how to grow secondary roots, be sure to subscribe and I will teach you in about a week or 2. Now again, I'm not looking for the largest possible pumpkins this year. I would just be happy if I can get 2 to 3 Connecticut field pumpkins on each vine. And with the Big Maxes, this is my first time ever growing them. So again, just having some fun and see what happens with them. So I'm going to keep 4 and let's see what happens. Now, just like the other mound, I could keep some of the ones that are closer together, but in order to give the roots enough space to spread out on this mound, I'm gonna cut these 2 middle ones right here. I'm gonna cut down this one Connecticut field vine, and I'm gonna cut out this one Big Max vine. Now with these Big Maxes, this vine and this vine look about comparable, so I'm not too disappointed about that. And this vine is looking awesome. Check out this Big Max vine. She's doing really well. All right, so let's cut down this one Big Max. Take it right down to the ground. Sorry, girl. So sad. All right. And then with the Connecticut fields, they're doing comparable. Not bad. And we have this one that I transplanted over to the side just to give them a little more space to spread out. I did this 2 weeks ago, and it clearly is dealing with some transplant shock, and that's why this one is a little bit further behind. But I'm going to cut this one down anyway. I kind of suspect this would happen. Okay, so we're going to cut this vine down. And we're also going to cut down this middle one right here. Okay. These will be going in compost vine too. Man, this always sucks. All right, so we're down to 4 vines on this mound. So now that I've thinned out my vines, I want to encourage vigorous vine growth. So I'm going to feed it with some fertilizer that's high in nitrogen. So over the next few weeks, my vines are going to focus really on promoting vine growth and growing a lot of leaves. The more leaves, the more energy you can produce to grow some healthy pumpkins. And I'm going to continue feeding my vines with high nitrogen fertilizer until I see the first flower buds. So that's how I thinned out my vines, and now it's time to let them grow. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, happy gardening.